Hey everyone, it's 5:30. I want to use it the whole time.
Sorry, all. I was gonna say T and Dr. Brown and Tammy Carrington will promote you when it's time to give your testimony or speak or talk through the agenda.
Can we start?
You can start.
The meeting will come to order. The time is now 5:31 p.m. on Monday, December 15th, 2025. This is a regular monthly meeting of the District of Columbia Commission on the Arts and Humanities. My name is Reggie Van Vliet, Chairman of the Commission on the Arts and Humanities, and I'm an African-American man wearing a black shirt. I'll now call the roll. When you hear your name, please answer present. Commissioner Sims. Avamana. Masters Berry. Butler. Wharton.
Present.
I'm sorry, present.
Oh, Butler, thank you. Torres.
Present.
Kim.
Present.
Renza.
Present.
Nikiti. O'Neill.
Present.
He's here.
Oh, Nikiti, thank you. O'Neill. Stedman.
Here.
A quorum is present. This is a meeting of a public body held in open session and is governed by the Open Meetings Act. Please address any questions or complaints arising under this meeting to the Office of Open Government at opengov.office@dc.gov. Notice of the meeting was posted in the DC Register, on the Commission's website, dcrts.dc.gov, and on the DC Office of Open Government Central Meetings calendar at open-dc.gov. The meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format, with commissioners joining in person and remotely using the Zoom meeting platform. The meeting is being live streamed to the Commission's YouTube channel. An electronic recording of the meeting will be available for viewing online following the conclusion of the meeting. Are there any objections to the agenda and minutes that were previously circulated on November 17th, 2025 regular meeting? Hearing no objection, the agenda for this meeting and minutes from the previous meeting stand as adopted. I will now read the land acknowledgement. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land generations that can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort by acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We stand on the ancestral lands of the CAH and the Piscataway people. We pay respects to their elders past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events and to use such truths to guide the legacy of this Arts Commission. Good evening and welcome to everyone on this nice warm evening in the nation's capital. We have a robust agenda meeting this evening that hopefully will warm us up with reports from the committees, a grantee highlight, and public commentary from members of the art community. Today, our grantee highlight is Dee Sinay, founder of Mosaic Visions and a former member of the Arts Commission, as I understand, former staff at the Arts Commission.
No, that's actually
Is that a different Dee?
different.
Sorry, bad information. So Dee Sinay, please.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity and the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm truly grateful as a first-time grantee. I deeply appreciate the Commission's support in making this work possible. My name is Dee Sinay. I'm a music industry veteran with roots in journalism, marketing, and curating multidisciplinary events. I'm also proud to be one of the few Jewish women of color-led nonprofit founders in the nation and even globally. This perspective will inform you how I approach storytelling, community building, and creating platforms for artists whose voices are often underrepresented. My work focuses on reclaiming narratives and creating spaces where artists and audiences can connect, reflect, and grow together, even in a world that can feel divided and challenging. Mosaic Visions began as a platform highlighting Jewish artists of color, particularly those whose voices were underrepresented in communal storytelling. Over time, in the last couple of years, we've expanded the tent to include all diverse artistic voices across communities while continuing to honor the programs and our organization's origins and commitment to amplifying perspectives that are often overlooked. Our programs actively work upstream and that's how we do system change to advance inclusion and expand narratives. We give the artists the power to define their stories and audiences the opportunity to see representation and creativity they might not otherwise encounter. We hold the both and. We honor individual artistic expression while cultivating collective connection. As you all know, the landscape where funding gaps and limited narratives have made it harder for diverse voices to be seen and heard. Again, I'm deeply grateful for the artists and the commission that we collaborate with, those who see the bigger picture of how art can transcend, inspire, and connect humanity. This brings me to speak about some of the impact that we've had. So we have an annual flagship program called Spirit of Humanity, and that exemplifies and embodies the spirit of what I just explained. Each event is designed not just to entertain, but to teach, inspire, and transform. We've had 2 sold out in-person events with our partnership at the Eaton Workshop, which is a testament to the need and the community's want for this sort of programming. 100% of attendees reported deepening their understanding of diverse cultural perspectives, and 83% said it challenged preconceived notions and ideas about identity and representation. This event, which I would love for you all and see you in 2026, brings together people fostering empathy, shared humanity, and healing through the arts, offering spaces for reflection, connection, and well-being. While we're based in DC, Mosaic Visions has a national footprint. Over the span since 2020, we've reached 1.8 million people through our digital programs, partnerships, and campaigns. We've collaborated with over 80 different organizations and community centers nationwide. Our audience and artists have spanned over New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, Boston, Minneapolis, Toronto, and Mexico. We have focused 60% of our artists are based here in DC, and we are excited to continue to grow this local network, using the arts to support well-being, foster collaboration, and strengthen our community. I also want to acknowledge the commission staff whose guidance has been essential in helping navigate the grants process and your program offerings. Terrell, Kayla, along with Dwayne, JR, Christopher, and Edward have been very instrumental in helping me navigate the Arts and Humanities Commission and the grant process, so I appreciate it. Looking ahead, I hope the Commission continues to provide programs that support grantees and nurture a community among them. Long-term investment, mentorship, and opportunities for collaboration help us grow together, share ideas, and expand our impact. And I would love to share with you a little promo from last year. Sometimes it'll give you a sense of the work. It's sometimes better to show you rather than speaking. So I'm asking permission if I can do that.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Can you share? Do you have the share option on your screen?
I do.
Okay, try sharing that. Let's see how that works. Okay, I'm allowed. There we go. Should come up. Give me 1 second. Is anything show up on your end?
It just says share request. Hold
You
on.
want to share? Try doing it again.
Here we go. I got it. Let
Here
me
we go.
see. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Here you go.
And to give ourselves permission to arrive right here in this moment. So perhaps as you breathe in, you can kindly say to yourself the words, right here. And as you breathe out, saying to yourself, right now, right here, right now. Verte claramente bajo el árbol azul. Tonight you'll experience performances that remind us of the transformative power of art, music, spoken word. This event is a really special one because it brings together artists from so many different cultural backgrounds. Being from a multicultural background, I think it's so important to have, these different facets that give perspective, stories, through poetry, music, readings. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I'll be your sunshine on your darkest day. I would love to communicate a message of oneness and unity among all people of all diverse backgrounds, just so that everyone can come together. No politics, just music, love, light, and positivity. Feel like I finally found my place. Community can do things to dispel that disbelief in self as you go through your journey or down that road in a way that doesn't falsely present who you are or isn't who you were, but just speaks to who you desire to be, and to allow people to aggregate around that idea and hold you accountable to that ideal. It really don't make a difference. I'm grateful for all that I got. I don't mean to sound too religious. I give all my glory to God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your good work, and we always remind ourselves we're here because of our grantees and the work that you do, and we're just happy to be supportive of the work. So thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Sanat.
Thank you.
Got it right that time. Thank you. Moving on to the public comment portion, we have Tammy Carrington, Dr. Bill Long, and John Dominguez of DC Black Broadway signed up for public comment. The commission welcomes your comments. They're very important to us. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please address your remarks to the chair. Note that we will not be engaging into dialogue at this time. The purpose of this agenda item is for you, the public, to inform us, the commission, about your views. Members of the public have factual questions, staff will be glad to follow up via email. So I call your name, you can begin your comments, and we'll start with Ms. Carrington.
Hi again, panel, everyone at Arts and Humanities. I'm here actually in support again of DC Black Broadway, and just calling on the commission to maybe give us some tips, or give me some tips as to how we seek guidance through the humanities for some of our upcoming projects, as well as some guidance as to getting support for a lot of our projects that we have coming up for the 2026 year. And just a few other things that probably Dr. Long will cover in terms of DC Black Broadway looking for a home. And the purpose of that home is to, A, have a representation of theater in Ward 8 that encompasses with our projects the Ward 8 life, the Native Washingtonian, the stories that I think are still very much underrepresented in that area. And I'm just coming in front of the commission to ask if you have any leads, any opinions, any suggestions as to A, how would DC Black Broadway go about finding space in Ward 8 specifically for us to find a home. We attempted the Anacostia Playhouse, which that is no longer an option. The Anacostia Playhouse decided that they no longer want to be in the theater business. And so as that seems to be dwindling quite rapidly throughout Washington, D.C., DC Black Broadway definitely wants to still ensure that there's a home, and not just for us, however, for a lot of the underrepresented voices, and specifically Ward 7 and 8, that are of different artistic mediums.
Good. I was whispering on the side because as it ends up, minutes before this meeting started, we finally finalized a meeting with you all on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And Aaron was just talking about how we could connect you with certain bids and things. So we have some thoughts already. We will do yet more homework between now and Wednesday to really figure out a way to address your concerns and your needs.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Long.
Hey, I'm coming to tell you. I'm Dr. LaBelle Long. I want to say hi to everyone. As a leader of DC Black Broadway, my duty and community I serve, which is urban theater, it's my duty as a leader to serve. So that's why you see me here. Starting to see me here more in person than sitting behind television or making emails. I have a duty to serve my community as a leader. And so with that being said, I'm here just to meet everybody in the room, shake everyone's hand, get everyone's cards. Even though out TV land, I will come until I can meet everyone and get a card and talk to every individual. Because as a leader, I believe it's very important to take care of my people. And if I'm not taking care of my people, which is I'm saying DC Black Broadway and Return to Citizen Arts, that's my nonprofit. I believe I can't take care of my community. And I ask this question a lot, how much it costs to get to heaven. So I'm really not here to look for money. I'm looking a way to serve my community that's been overlooked in the arts. And wishing everybody a happy holiday. Like they say, I do have a meet 2 o'clock Tuesday. I want to know what everyone Wednesday. I want to meet everyone in the room, shake everyone's hand, and just be able to have communication. Everyone that's part of this art commission to know what everyone do. And so instead of hearing the outside noise, because everybody's on me as a leader, if you're looking at it, if DC Black Broadway can't do it, we can't do it. And that's the burden I've been with when I'm on the phone with people calling me about what's going on. So as me being a leader and going to speak for the people, I want to make sure that I get to know everyone and I can take my own opinions and conversations and go back to my people. We'll come from there with an outlook of how we view what the arts are doing, arts humanity is doing. And so that's the reason why I'm here.
Mr. Dominguez.
Yes. Thank you. I will make this brief because I know time is valuable and other people would like to speak, but again, just to piggyback off Dr. LaBelle, it is a good thing to come in and just meet everyone. And I commend you for the arts and humanities. I know, it's a love thing. It's more than just money. And that's what it is. It's a collaborative industry. It's people coming together to express themselves freely, safely. And DC Black Broadway is providing that. And the future could be so much more. Even Dr. LaBelle has mentioned not just highlighting the go-go culture, but also other cultures in the city. You have other Spanish culture, you have Asian, Ethiopian. So there's so many different cultures in the city that have stories that, this is what arts and humanities is all about. It's connecting people, it's entertaining them, taking them away from their day-to-day lives, which in this world today, we all need, right? Like it's a beautiful thing. So to be a part of that and to, have DC Black Broadway be a pioneer in that sense of opening those doors where communities are underserved, that's why I'm here too, and I would love to be a president. I want to know more about what it is that you do. How did you even get in this position? I admire everyone in this room. I want to meet everybody too and get to know you personally as well as professionally. So I look forward to it and thank you for having me here.
Great. Thank you. And as you may know, we have open house sort of receptivity to our grantees in our room that's in the front of the building. So we'll find a way for you to meet yet more people.
Excellent. That's what it's about. Yeah,
and aside from my role as chair of the Arts Commission, some people know this, but for 3 years, I was a nominator and voter for the Tony Awards on Broadway. So I understand that space. And just as I'm determined to bring Art Basel to DC, I would love to bring that Broadway feeling to DC as well. So sign me up both in my role as chair of the Arts Commission, but also as just a concerned citizen that wants to do the right thing for Washington, DC. So
Wealth of
thank you.
wisdom, wealth of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now the commission calls Executive Director Aaron Myers to present his report. Objection.
Good evening, everybody, on this warm, wintry day. I'm African-American male, black hoodie, balding, but bald today. I'll start with some of the staff updates. We want to welcome Courtney Spearman. She's a new contractor supporting our public arts team, supporting both our curator and the registrar. At least she comes to us, not mistaken, from NEA, which is fantastic. As we refer to our budget, Friday, CAH presented its budget request to the mayor's budget review team, or the BRT. In this presentation, we spoke to CAH's previous accomplishments from the last fiscal year, our budget request specifically around removing the cap, returning to the 5% sales tax allocation, along with having ready access to our fund balance. Both of these requests were supported by the data showing increased demand from the ecosystem and the increasing need to support preservation of our collection. We also advocated in support of a cost of living adjustment, a COLA for the staff. I've made this same request before the council last year and to the city administrator. And I'll put a pin there real quickly to let people know that there's not been a cost of living adjustment for the staff. We're an independent agency for about 4 years, I believe, about 4 years, which makes, when you're trying to do hiring, making sure things are fair and equitable between new hires and those who've been working a bit difficult. And so I think the agency will hear more of that. Now, a great deal of the city is unionized. I know that for sure. So I think that's also being explored by the staff so they can have some bargaining opportunities to have some fair pay. The agency was able to display how its requests meet the needs of the ecosystem, the increased economic development opportunities for the district, and support the priorities of the mayor and the council member constituents. As far as our grants are concerned, our grants had a successful grants revamp where several ideas and suggestions are under consideration by the team. Although we got a late start due to the waiver process and getting grants processed, we are on track to exceed our pace from last year. As of today, we have a total of 276 POs created. That's 25% so far, whereas we finished the year last year with 33%. So we're just starting the week now. We probably will exceed that by the end of the week, and then we'll keep going toward the end of the year. So this is a good deal. I'd like to thank the grants, the public arts, and resource allocation teams for their due diligence, dedication to improving this process and working to get awards in the hands of grantees sooner. As far as our large capital projects grant, this grant is currently open and applications are due on Wednesday, December 17th at 10 p.m. I want to reiterate that. It closes at 10 p.m. on Wednesday. I would prefer not to get text messages at 10:30 asking if we can keep things open, as we get quite often, all right? As of now, we have about 24 drafting and 2 applications submitted so far. If you have any questions about the large capital projects grant program, please contact our senior grants officer, Terrell Johnson, at terrell.johnson@dc.gov. If you previously were working with Terrence has moved agencies. So you need to redirect those questions and or concerns to Terrell Johnson. The DC Business Council for the Arts. The agency has been working with Fair Chance in their efforts to form an arts business council. This effort was created in response to feedback CAH has heard from the creative ecosystem about the inability for large and small entities alike to connect with members of the business community. In a survey sent out to our grantees, we've seen a 54% response rate from arts and humanities programs. So just so you can understand how we measure success, we were thinking if we got about 25 to 30% responses, we would have been successful. And so far we have 54% as far as responses, which is good. 114 people responded, organizations, with 87% of the respondents stating that they were interested in joining and participating. So as this continues to develop, I will both keep the commissioners and the community updated. I'm going to end with events. Friday, 12/19 from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. We encourage our grantees to join some members of our team and Wildside Media at Union Station for Walk on the Wildside Holiday Art Party. This is a free event and we hope to see some of you there. Commissioners are invited to attend and we will have more information sent to you regarding logistics for the event. Lastly, the agency is happy to support the Go-Go Awards, January 6th at Lincoln Theater. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Please find more information for the awards at Lincoln Theater, at the Lincoln Theater website. If you have any questions, I will take them now.
Commissioners, questions? Thank you. Grants Committee, Gretchen.
Hi, everyone. I was trying to turn on my video. There we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Gretchen Wharton, Black female, Black classes. I've got on a blue vest because it's really cold. For FY27 grants revamp, this is the third grants revamp that we've actually held, and all of them have been very successful. During this revamp, our grants managers sit together with us and talk about their specific grants. They give us opinions on what they think's right, what's wrong, what can be done to improve grants. So they've been really, really good sessions, and they've been very productive in terms of us formulating grants for the next year. Large capital project grants, closing date Wednesday, December the 17th. As Aaron mentioned, the large capital project grants is a competitive grant with the intention of supporting either improvements of a facility located in the District of Columbia with a tax valuation of at least $1 million, or the purchase of a facility located in the District of Columbia with a tax valuation of at least $1 million by an applicant with a 30-year lease on that facility. Applications for this grant will be closing this coming Wednesday, the 17th at 10 p.m. Staff will be available up until that deadline for technical support. So as Aaron said, please let's not have people call at 10:30 asking us to extend the deadline. It is this Wednesday at 10 p.m. It's a very highly competitive grant, and there are only, unfortunately, 4 total awards available this time. Capital Projects Grant. The FY26 Capital Projects Grant was announced earlier this month with 70 awards going out to our community. With this announcement, all awards for the FY26 grant cycle have been made. Excuse me. Upcoming events. For the coming FY27 award cycle, we will be using our new grants management platform. Yes, we have been trying to get this done forever, and it's finally here. Submittable. Our staff is working on setting up our programs on this new system, as well as planning our resources to support our community. More updates will follow. Please, for any other additional information, please visit the website or contact your grants manager. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Questions, comments on grants, commissioners? Finance, Janice.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janice Kim, East Asian woman with short dark hair, wearing a very thick green sweater today for the same reason Gretchen is wearing her vest. And I'd like to offer a brief overview before we move on to the full report. The Finance Committee met for our regular monthly meeting, and I'm pleased to share that the process for reviewing and approving funding requests continues to run smoothly in partnership with our internal team and other CAH departments. This collaboration has been key to keeping our work both efficient and accountable. At last month's board meeting, there were questions regarding a very specific accounting line item in the financial report. And rather than addressing these questions through footnotes, as we had discussed, either for that item or for similar questions that may arise, we'd like to invite all the commissioners to join us for our Finance Committee meeting on February 20th at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. This will give everyone an opportunity to ask questions directly, receive detailed breakdown of that line item specifically, along with any other line items you may have questions about. As stewards of public funds, transparency and clarity are central to our work. This approach ensures that commissioners from all wards are well equipped to respond to questions from their constituents regarding the finance report, which is set up to meet the financial reporting criteria required to work with DC government and reports and regulations. And with that, I now turn it over to Brandon Saunders of our Resource Allocation Office for the full finance report.
Thank you, Janice. Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Saunders, Resource Allocation Officer here at CAH, and I'm wearing a black and white striped sweater that's also warm for the very same reasons in my humble abode here. Thank you, Janice, so much for providing a good overview and synopsis of kind of what we discussed in today's meeting. And additionally, I'd kind of like to also overview and kind of speak to, kind of give a preview of what we could, kind of share in a much deeper dive and more granular version of in February. However, to kind of piggyback off of what Janice just said, the team spoke about as well, in addition to the numbers that we were presenting, we spoke about something that Director Meyer spoke to earlier, which was regarding the FY27 BRT and specific emphasis points that we, just kind of touched based on regarding the budget. And we also we did try to be intentional about providing a level of transparency and providing more resources for everyone's edification in terms of the numbers in the agency's budget. They kind of start on slide 1 overall. Just as always, I'd like to kind of just speak to some of the key figures in which our total budget is about 45.73 million. Currently available is the 78.32%, which is about 35.8 million, of course. So we are about, at the end of Q1, this is our last month, and we're on pretty good track. Actually, we're expending, as Aaron spoke to, in terms of the purchase orders at a faster pace than we were last year. Specifically, we are about a month ahead in terms of requisition creation. And so that is a little bit more operational, that is not shown directly in the numbers. And we're also ahead in terms of getting the funds committed and obligated in the system as well. One thing I'd like to just point out before moving to the next slide is that PS services are our largest spend. Overall, our administrative spending has increased from the last month for about 584,000. So this is on pace for our typical Q1 spending patterns, probably a little bit ahead, like I kind of mentioned earlier. In this breakdown, overall, to kind of provide a further breakdown of specific categories that were more kind of asked about at the last month's meeting, we have had 4 major purchase orders so far. That is regarding our VTech contract for temporary staffing and essentially labor, our Eli contract for art handling and storages. A purchase order has been established for a strategic plan as well, and we're happy to announce that the first wave of the gift cards has recently been approved. So that's in one major category. In the other major category as well, we have further expense projections that essentially is making up the large amount of the 1.3 million in contractual services. So some of the things that are still to be hit, quote unquote. So those things are Art All Night, our Lincoln Theater, additional consultants contracts. And one thing that I would like to share that it's in that contractual services line that Director Meyer spoke to in his earlier presentation were the reclassifications in which the agency has to reprogram essentially, which is a technical term. Everyone's still getting paid, but that's something that is currently in a larger line item. Again, I'd like to kind of provide like a lot more breakdown, and that might even been a little bit too deep dive even for this setting, but we'd like to just share that we have the ability to provide whatever level of analysis that is needed, whatever questions. That's something that we're so happy to share. Our hard work and the hard planning that the agency and the departments are doing to essentially move the funds forward at all times. So, with that said, we can move to the next slide, which is going to be pretty quick because this is just a more extended breakdown of the previous larger categories that are more macro in size from the previous slide. And I'm happy to, in anything that I said in terms of terminology, any definitions to anything that I shared, or in terms of, like, for example, this slide, any just definitions of the account categories, what does this specifically mean? How does it roll up to the previous slide? I'm happy to share all of that as well. Some like seeing it in this format, so we always provide that. And then finally, we can go move to the next slide. And this is of course our grant slide. And one key takeaway that I kind of wanted to share is from the last month, we've actually expended, and this speaks to the specific amount of purchase orders kind of being established and then expended $1.8 million more than where we were from before. That's just in the last month. And so we are probably right in the mix of, I would say, increasing our efficiency, even moreover with other things such as suppliers getting added to the system and things of that nature. But one thing that I just wanted to kind of share is that this report is not reflective as well of Woolly Mammoth and the Gala Hispanic Theaters for the large capital project that is a major fund source there. And those were recently established as of this Friday. And that will that will most definitely be shown in the next month's report as well. So I would say those numbers are even further adjusted in terms of the agency's processing power to date. So thank you so much for allowing me just to give a even more further breakdown than I maybe normally would. But I also just welcome any further just questions. Hopefully this showcase the deep dive that we can provide to each one of these lines in a different setting as well. So thank you so much for your time as always.
Thank you. Questions, comments? I'll just reiterate that this is a difficult format in which people can really get an understanding. So as Janet said, we invite any commissioner to the Finance Committee meeting where you can really delve into deeper questions if you wish. You still up for that, Brandon?
Of course. I'm happy to share our work.
Thank you. Thank you both. Governance, John.
All right. I'm Julianne. I'm a white woman of Italian and Irish and I guess Spanish descent. It's a new thing for me to learn about. And I'm wearing a Santa hat today because it is Santa time. The governance committee met this Thursday, December 11th. Thankfully, we had some folks attending. We had committee members were present. Our new commissioner, Dave Stedman, was there. Our chairperson, our vice chairperson, and David St. John, who is our attorney advisor, and David Martinez, who is our general counsel. As well as Aaron Myers, our executive director, joined the meeting as well. It was our final meeting of the calendar year, and the committee reviewed and discussed just some of our responsibilities as commissioners. We went through clarifying definitions and requirements related to our conflict of interest and annual disclosure forms. We were reviewing committee procedures, including quorum and voting requirements for advancing items to the full board. Today, I did email all commissioners that chair committees with a little cheat sheet on what you need for quorum. And just to triple clarify, if you have a committee member that also serves as an officer, if that's like a secretary or the vice chair or the chair, yeah, they're counted in that quorum. So there you go. And we also reviewed some open meeting act obligations and just different agency bylaw requirements. And just as a reminder, all commissioners are required to complete their ethics training annually. That's BEGA, Board of Ethics and Accountability. Quarterly ethics trainings are circulated, will be circulated once they are available. Currently, they just have the 2025 dates on their schedule because, you know, we're just getting to 2026. We're not there yet. They usually take about 45 minutes. Yeah, you're required to do it. So we'll do it. The committee also finally got to reviewing and voting on the updates to our bylaws to fully incorporate our new standing committee, what is it called? The Community Advisory Committee. And let's go ahead and go to those changes so we can review them on the screen. You're going to keep paging down there. You can just page through that. And we're going to go to page 7, section 5, governance committee. And then we're also at the same time going to look at section 6, the grant committee. We have added the language ensuring that the principles of equality, cultural awareness, and universal access. Okay. So both of those committees have that updated language added to it. And then additionally, section 8, Public Art Committee, PAC, committees and public places across all 8 boards. Those are the 3 changes that we're going to vote on today. And I'm going to kick it to our wonderful chair to call that vote. And we're going to vote on that. And then I'll finish up my report once we do that vote.
So just repeat the resolution.
We are voting to fully incorporate the Community Advisory Committee into our bylaws. And that is updating section 5, the Governance Committee, section 6, the Grant Committee, with ensuring the principles of equality, cultural awareness, and universal access. And finally, section 8, Public Art Committee, PAC, communities and public places across all 8 wards.
Good. Any discussion before I go to the roll call on the vote, commissioners? Acknowledge the roll call. If you're in favor, aye. Opposed, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Sims?
Aye.
Commissioner Havamana? Commissioner Masters Berry? Commissioner Butler?
Aye.
Mr. Horton?
Aye.
Commissioner Torres?
Aye.
Commissioner Kim?
Aye.
Commissioner Brienza? Commissioner Mankiti?
Aye.
Commissioner O'Neill? Commissioner Stedman?
Aye.
It passes. Thank you.
All right, let's go. And thank you to Grace and Cecily for the Community Advisory Committee's work on those updates. And to close, I just want to share that the committee discussed the process of the Business of the Arts program and the potential of the creation of a board special committee to align our agency priorities. The focus of this discussion centered on ensuring that the arts, humanities, and creative industries are leveraged not only for economic benefit, but also to support a fair and equitable arts ecosystem across all 8 boards. And as a side note, I'd like to thank David St. John, David Martinez, and also to our chair and vice chair for showing up for the governance committee this calendar year. I really appreciate it. And our next meeting is Thursday, March 12th. And it'll be great because it'll be warmer. Thank you.
Hopefully. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that the governance work is almost a thankless task if you do it with such vim and vigor. And we really appreciate it. It's important. It's important. Questions, comments? I'll go on to public art. Carla.
Sorry about that. Good evening. My name is Carla Sims, African-American woman wearing a rose-colored sweater and matching earmuffs. I'm just kidding. The Public Arts Committee has been busy working on several projects, including the Art Bank exhibition, juried exhibitions, their public arts projects, and several new initiatives. We didn't have we did a staff report for December, and Karen Miller, the public arts manager, will provide a detailed staff report at this time. I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you, Commissioner Sims. Hi, everyone. I'm Corinne Miller. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white woman with brown hair and glasses, and I'm wearing a black and blue jacket. And I have the honor of leading the public arts team here at the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities. So as Commissioner Sims mentioned, the Public Art Committee did not meet in December, but the Public Art Department did prepare a report, which was circulated on December 3rd and is in everyone's packets. And I'll go over in brief. So the first thing is FY26 Art Bank program. The team is processing grant paperwork for 68 grantees and also creating debrief documents for 105 different applicants. This has an update that's from November 24th, and it's gotten better and better. So 40 of the 68 grantees have been paid or approved for payment, and 53 of the 68 have purchase orders. So that's an old update that's written, so giving a bigger, better update now. So since the debut of DC Art Now, which was the exhibition in the gallery that just closed and featured 57 works by the Art Bank finalists at 200 I Street, we've received a tremendous amount of support on the exhibition. We've had 3 different public programs and panel discussions in the gallery, and the exhibition just closed last Friday. So we had October Immigrant Artists of the DMV. On November 18th, we did an artist talk in partnership with the Umbrella Art Fair. And just this last Thursday, we had a closing reception and a panel with emerging artists, women artists in the DMV. So lots of public programming that went into it. I'll give an update. We've shared some information of past meetings about the FY26 Art Exhibition Curatorial Grant Program. So we have 2 special projects that are coming in through this grant cycle. The first is Inside Out, Dignity and the Art of Seeing. The curators are Emma Pierce and Vicki Toback. That show will open January 15th and run through March 6th. It features never before seen works by women and historic images from the Lorton Prison and the DC Jail. This collection of work emerges from the transformative 1980s DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities Arts in Prison initiative that we had. So there'll also be some public programming. We'll have an artist talk on February 5th and then a closing reception on March 5th. So we're really very excited and honored to have this exhibition coming next in the gallery. The spring show will be an exhibition called Finders Keepers. The curators are Ira Tattleman and Kanchan Balsi. That'll open April 2nd and run through May 22nd. So that's an art exhibition with 15 different local artists. It'll happen during Earth Day month in April. It's all artist-made found object pieces that turn trash into art. So looking at sustainability, ecology, and art, it'd be pretty fantastic. And then we're gearing up for the FY26 juried exhibition grant program. We launched an RFA, request for applications, earlier this year for Rip Tear Collage as Critique. So this is a exhibition that our curator, Dr. Michelle May Curry, has put forward, and that'll launch in the summer. So it calls on DC artists who use collage not only as a visual technique, but as a metaphor for cultural, political, ecological, and personal investigation. So we're very excited about that as well. A quick update on another one of our grant lines, the Public Art Building Communities program. So we're working with the NOMA Business Improvement District to get their project reviewed by the Commission of the Fine Arts. Hopefully that'll happen in January. So that marks an important step in this project, and we're working with the other grantees as well. We have some great photos here from our final FY25 Color the Curb grantees. So the 3 grantees for that for the Color the Curb project were Tammy Barnes, who worked with Maury Elementary School, Nia Calhoun, who worked with Marie Reed Elementary School, and Ashley J. Williams, whose project is featured on the screen, who worked with Columbia Heights Education Campus. They all completed ground murals outside or near their assigned schools. This is a really sweet collaboration that we do with DC Public Schools and the DC Department of Transportation to put murals along the curbs to slow traffic and bring visibility to vulnerable users around schools. Typically, the schools will work really closely with the artists and the students to develop content for the artwork. This time, the school was so excited about the project that they hosted a dedication. The students came out, the teachers came out, the artists came out, our partners from DCPDS came out. So we were really excited to see the school embrace this project in this way. The request for applications for the FY26 cycle of Color the Curb is open now. So if folks know artists, send them our way. It launched November 17th. It will be due January 12th. We've mentioned this before, but we're very excited that this opened using our new grants management system, Submittable, as a pilot and a way to test out that new system. It's been fantastic so far. Speaking of newly launched things, Fresh Paint DC, our new mural program, launched just an hour ago. Launched at 5 p.m. today. And it's a pilot program to rethink our murals program. We'll be working with one of the bids and some of the main streets on that program to help select sites. The request for applications launched today. It's our inaugural year. We're hoping to do at least 3 or 4 murals. It'll be due February 23rd. We'll have lots of workshops and opportunities if folks have questions to get more information about what we're doing with that. And then just two more short updates, collections management. So our Art Bank loan program, that's how we circulate our amazing collection of about 3,000 artworks around the district. We have 30 active requests right now for artwork. So it's a program that continues to be in very high demand. The team recently welcomed representatives from the Public Employee Relations Board and the Department of Human Services. Our registrar is also working on cataloging the FY26 Art Bank collection and new acquisitions in the new year. We're also making some updates to our e-museum, which is the public-facing site where people can see everything that's in the collection. So we're making some updates to make it more user-friendly, have some more content, make it look better, just make it, hopefully more interesting to dig into. So we're looking forward to launching that soon. And then an update on the FY26 public art work plan. That plan has been finalized for 2026. We're already thinking about the 2027 plan and how we do outreach and get that going, but emphasizes public participation, how we can create equitable and accessible public art, creating a thriving creative economy, and the practical steps needed to actually implement it too. So happy to take questions.
There's a note that plan's on the website. Those plans been put on the website.
It's all online.
So you can find it all on the website as well.
Good. Questions, comments? Exciting stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Carla, as well. Art education, Hector?
Indeed, thank you very much. The Arts Education Committee met on Wednesday, December 10th. In attendance were myself, Carla Sims, and Demetrius Butler, as well as our chair, Reggie Van Lee. Thank you very much all for attending. Poetry Out Loud is an upcoming festival that is sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation. Commission on Arts and Humanities administers the DC Regional Poetry Out Loud. Words on Fire and a multidisciplinary youth-centered poetry and performance event designed for children from the 8th to 12th grade, students interested in creating and performing original works. Poetry Out Loud and Words on Fire Poetry Festival will take place on Saturday, March 7th from 11 to 2:30 p.m. Location is to be determined, but I think it's probably going to be where it was last year. Now, very key to this, we focused a lot of conversation about how do we make this a more participatory program, not from the student side, because I think we've got a really good audience from that, because we've got 13 DCPS and DC public charter school that have confirmed participation. But how do we get more attention on such a vital program and participation from commissioners as well? The fact is that I think that there are resources that we do have available at the commission itself, such as, for example, our media, which, Carlos Sims suggested very aggressively that it should be really undertaken that we could do information shout out to a lot of organizations so that they participate in this particular program, and also media. I don't think there is anything more important to demonstrate to our citizens of the great work that this kind of programming signifies for our students. So I'm encouraging whatever we can do to um, enhance participation and attendance that is done by the commission, as well as any resources that we have available to ourselves. As far as the arts internship program, the summer internship program provides college-age and early career professionals with real-world experience in arts education, public arts administration, resource allocation, communications, and events. This program generally is slated for like the summer. We're trying to see if we can extend it at a time as per our needs in particular, but it starts January 2026. The CAH internships program will welcome interns for a 6-week summer session to begin in July. However, there was discussion with regard to sending it to other periods as well. That pretty well concludes my report, and thank you very much.
Great.
Any questions?
Questions? This is a very efficient meeting. People want to get back in their warm homes by the fire or something. Thank you, thank you. Is there any unfinished business? Hearing none, we'll proceed to new business. New business.
Thank you, everybody. We have been long suffering around a strategic plan. This has been a journey, but I would like to say that we have now reached the place where not only have we gotten through OCP, but we have chosen a consulting firm, or OCP chose a consulting firm, Opportunity Consulting, that we're glad to have them here with us today. We have with us, this is Dr. Lindsay Brown. That's who I have with me, Dr. Lindsay Brown, and then I think in the future you may hear also from Dr. Iris Bond Gill, which is important. And I think, am I saying her name right? Anaya Sharon Brown as well. So I want to pass it over to them, Opportunity Consulting, who will be just giving us an introduction to our new strategic plan process and where we're going.
Wonderful, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Wonderful. Good evening, commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Great. My name is Lindsay Brown. I am a white woman in a red shirt, and I am joined by my colleague Ananya Sharma tonight. And we are here on behalf of Iris Bond Gill and the entire team at Opportunity Consulting to say a brief hello. It'll be very brief in alignment with everyone else this evening as your new partners for the upcoming strategic planning process. We're thrilled to be partnering with you at this very important juncture in the Commission's journey. So a very brief update about our team. We are a minority and women-owned business based here in DC and working nationally. Our work and our partnerships are designed to foster equity and improvement at the intersection of education, workforce development, and community services. And we see the work you do through your leadership on this commission as instrumental to this mission here in DC. Strategic planning is one of our core services, and we do this work in partnership with agencies and organizations of all sizes and shapes in multiple domains and sectors, and we are excited to partner with you to customize this process to your needs. You'll see as we partner in this process that our work is grounded in these core values of co-creation, community, context, learning, and impact. And we think that that's really aligned with the way that we see you doing business on a regular basis, including already tonight. Very, very briefly, wanted to give you a sneak preview of the strategic planning timeline. A more detailed timeline is under development, and you'll get much more details in January. However, wanted to give you a high-level expectation that we are in the kickoff phase right now, getting organized for success, working with the team to get some key information to organize this process. What is likely to be January through March will be the needs assessment phase, where we'll be collecting lots of information, including curating information you have already collected, along with information that's been collected by key partners in this arena in recent months to inform the process. We like to make use of the perspectives and voices that your community members and stakeholders have already shared, valuing the time and labor they've already spent to share their perspective before we jump into asking folks to give more information. We will combine and curate all the information we gather in the needs assessment process and guide you through an iterative design process, which will employ some typical standard processes, but we would be remiss if we were working with an arts and humanities group and not using some creative and artistic and other mechanisms to design a strategic plan. So we look forward to being innovative alongside you in that endeavor. And that process should wrap up in the middle to end of the summer to allow you to communicate and launch the strategic plan for implementation in the late summer and early fall. With that in mind, again, very, very high level overview, wanted to again give a sneak peek of some ways in which you will be contributing to this process. You as commissioners will be deeply involved in this process. Some key things to be aware of now. We would like to invite commissioners to join our team for some confidential small group interviews in groups of 3 to share your perspective on the commission's efforts to date and impact, current needs and pain points, and future. We are going to provide you this self-scheduling link through your update that the staff will give you, and you can schedule that at your convenience. There'll be slots available January 8th through January 30th, but we know scheduling is always the most difficult part of these processes. So we like to get ahead of that and give you opportunity to find a time that will work for you. Throughout the process, you will have many opportunities to actively engage, and we will do all that we can to position each commissioner for success in that process. For those community members that might be listening or watching this later, there will also be a number of ways in which community members, grantees, the larger community, and other interest holders will be engaged in this process. And Mr. Myers will be working through the appropriate channels through the governance committee to think about the appropriate approach to a strategic planning committee. That group will come together at key junctures in this process to provide commissioner insights along the way to ensure efficiency and effectiveness in this process. More info on that coming soon. That is the end of what we have for you today. Wanted to just say hello, thank you. Happy end of 2025, and we look forward to working with you in 2026.
We want to thank you all for joining us, and we want to reiterate to the community that there will be plenty of time for input, and we really want to hear back from you. To our commissioners, really check your emails. They'll be emailing you to see when you can schedule your interviews. They will give you a space where you can schedule yourself the best time to interview with them, so you're not having to chase different people to see what can happen from that standpoint. So thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing more from you. One last thing I'll say to the community: our staff, our general counsel, our senior grants officer, I mentioned this in the governance committee, are really looking up and examining things around universal basic income for artists. We've heard over and over again where artists are having a difficult time being able to afford living in Washington, DC. And we just saw what happened in Ireland. We've seen the pilot program, some of you familiar with in New York, also in San Francisco. And those of us who have talked to those in France, this has been just the normal for decades about ensuring that we value artists in a particular type of way. As the city is starting to call on the creative economy, the creative community, which has been primarily a secondary economy in Washington, to do primary functions, I think this is the high time for us to take advantage of the moment. I will say from a political standpoint, none of the candidates have stated anything about the creative economy or their wants or needs, but our council members and the mayor has made it clear that they do value the arts. So we're doing the research now and putting language together so that we might provide some solutions. As I say this, I'm not asking for anything to come out of our budget. There's plenty of pots where I think we can find the dollars. But I want the community to know that the commissioners have, one-on-one in some way or another, have mentioned this before. And I know that we're looking to see how we can find a solution in that particular standpoint. So we look to have more for you in the future.
Good. Questions, comments from the commissioners? So I have run out of agenda items. The next meeting of the commission will be held Monday, January 26th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. The time is now 6:36 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
We adjourn it?
Way to go.
Yeah, good.